Karen Heese is the author of the novel Out of the Dust. Karen grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and she went to Towson State College to major in theater, but ended up transferring to the University of Maryland, where she got her bachelor's degree in English with a double minor of psychology and anthropology. She always loved writing, and she was happy that she accomplished her dream of publishing a book. Some of her other books include The Music of Dolphins, Witness, and Letters from Rivka. Through her books, she has won awards such as the John Newbery Award and the Golden Kite Award for fiction. Out of the Dust is about a 14-year-old girl named Billie Jo Kelby and her family who lives in Oklahoma during the time of the Dust Bowl. This book talks about Billie Jo's personal life and the struggles that her family faces because they are living in the middle of the Dust Bowl. In the beginning of the book, Billie Jo and her mother get severely burned through an accidental fire. Soon after, her mother gives birth to her baby brother Franklin, who dies along with his mother in childbirth. After this, Billie Jo faces issues with her father and not being able to play piano because of her burnt hands. In the end, Billie Jo's hands heal, her father marries a nice lady, and it begins to rain more and more in Oklahoma. This book is fictional, but it's based on the event of the Dust Bowl. The author did not have any sources or citations throughout the book, but the references that she made to the real event could be considered common knowledge, so there was no real need of citations. Overall, I think that this author is a credible source because from what was written in the book, it was pretty much basic information on the Dust Bowl, who the president was at the time, and a few parts about the government helping those in the situation of the Dust Bowl. I think this book is a reliable source on the Dust Bowl because even though it doesn't cover everything about the Dust Bowl, what it does cover is factual, and if people wanted to get a general idea about the Dust Bowl through a fictional book, this would help. This book is probably aimed towards junior high students, but as a high schooler, I still found it interesting because it had the character of Billie Jo, who was a young teenager, which made the story relatable, and the reader could imagine themselves in her shoes. The author did a great job of making the Dust Bowl more of a real experience for the reader rather than something in a history book because they could see how Billie Jo, her family, and community struggled to get by with all the dust messing with their crops and their health. Something that was also interesting about the book was that it was written in almost journal entries, so it had the date on the bottom, it was spaced out, it wasn't so much of sentence and paragraphs, but through the journal entries the story was formed. One thing that I did not like about the book was that the ending seemed to be a bit rushed of a resolution to the issues that were set up in the book, so although the ending was happy, it seemed a bit rushed to me and unsettling. Overall, I really enjoyed reading the book. It was a quick read, pretty easy. It wasn't ever boring to me, and I would recommend it to others that are interested in reading it as well.